everybody, welcome back. Thank you all for joining me today. It's another hot one. Coming around the path earlier in the weekend and ran into a roadblock. I'll show you here in just a second. I've got a big, looks to be a water oak limb that has split off of a big tree, laying right across the path out into the field. So it's blocking the way we usually come around the field to get to some of the areas we like to hang out. So thought this would be a great time to get the Kioti and the Grapple hooked up and take care of this. It's a fairly large limb down at the base. It's about 12 inches around. So the wood is good. It appeared to be partially rotted up at the top, I guess, as we've had a lot of storms lately. Thunderstorms with some pretty rough winds. So that's, I guess, what finally did it in. But that was give me an opportunity to talk about the Grapple a little more and maybe talk about the dual cylinder Grapple versus the single cylinder. Now, I can't give you any advice or experience with the single cylinder because obviously, as you can see here, I have a dual cylinder. I can tell you what I've learned about this Grapple, and I've had it, about 2 years now since I got the tractor. I got it from the dealer. This is the one he recommended. This is a Construction Attachments. I think they call it their compact root Grapple. As I say, dual cylinder. It's a 5-foot model. I want to say this weighs about 472 pounds. So it's a fairly heavy Grapple, but it is very well built. I have lifted trees, limbs, rocks, scrap metal piles. I've done quite a bit and have no sign of it bending or giving in any way. From my experience, this is definitely very good at grabbing onto something and holding on to it when it's something that's uneven. If you got just a straight log or whatever, that's not a problem. But if you got some limbs that've got crooks or curves, or you're grabbing some kind of metal or something that's odd shaped, these cylinders operate independently, so it's very good at clamping onto it and grabbing it if it's an uneven surface. So anyway, we'll get in close here and take a look at that, and maybe if you guys, if you have a single cylinder, in the comments, tell me what you think maybe some of the advantages are having a single cylinder versus a dual. I know there's hundreds of companies out there making Grapples, I don't know, from probably, $1,500 range up to you can get $3,000 or $4,000. You can put how much you want into it, but I would say if you want to invest in a Grapple, get a good one that's going to last. Not something that's thin metal that's going to bend easily if you get into something that's heavy duty. But anyway, let's get in and take a closer look at this, and then I'll show you the tree. And I was going to actually maybe start the clock and time this and see how long it takes me to clean this limb up. Versus in the old days, before I had the Kioti and the Grapple, I probably would have had to cut it in little pieces or try to drag it with the other tractor, the Massey tractor, with maybe boom pole on the back, hooking a chain to parts of it. And then when you drag a limb of that size, you gotta find somewhere to drag it into the woods and then get out. For now, I'm just going to cut this thing in 3 or 4 pieces and grab it with the Grapple. Nothing that I'm going to try to grab the whole thing or anything. It's fairly large. So and I'm going to put it down in a pasture, old pasture we got here, that I'm going to cut the wood up probably in the fall, save it for fire pit wood or something like that. Anyway, let's take a closer look here at the Grapple. So you can see Construction Attachments. I think that's made in Lenore, North Carolina. The good old USA, as you can see there. And as I say, 2 cylinders there. There's something I showed before where I kind of clamped those hoses onto that bar to try to help keep them from getting snagged or caught up in anything. But you can tell it's pretty heavy duty steel this thing's made out of. You got your little jagged edges here to help grab on things as well. So but anyway, and this thing has got many grease fittings. Let's see, you've got 2, 4, there are 4 grease fittings per cylinder. So a total of 8 grease fittings that you've got there to keep the thing greased. I think they tell you right here on somewhere on oh yeah, right there. Greased fittings daily. So basically they want you to grease it between every use. So anyway, let's take a look over here. So as I was coming around the path on the golf cart actually a few days back, this is what I ran into. This huge limb that has fell across the path and out into the field here. And as you can see, right up there is where it came from. I believe this is a water oak tree, and part of it at the very top was a little rotted, but the wood itself on the limb looks to be in pretty good shape. It fell out here. This is a field of sorghum. It is in the corn family. It's a grain. You can see it's starting to seed out here. But I believe it's used. This, this is not mine. This is our land. Actually, Spencer's property, my son. But we tend, we lease the land out. So the farmer planted sorghum here this year. But anyway, it is. I believe it's used in a lot of things that are gluten-free. This is used to make a lot of those products. So let me get to the other side of this thing here and see. So yeah, you can see there where it broke off, and you had this section up here that was a bit rotted. But anyway, and you can see how some of the, I'll probably just cut it, like I said, 4 or 5 pieces. And but you can see how, and maybe I'll be able to get a good shot of something uneven, as some of these limbs here's got, some curves and multiple limbs sticking out. Maybe we'll be able to get a good shot of grabbing onto it with something uneven. All right, let's get started, and we'll see how long it takes us to get this out of the way. everybody, as you can see, the project is finished. Got it all cleaned up. I didn't realize, I'm not sure exactly how much footage I got from the back view or looking towards the tractor and the limb. Didn't realize the sun had heated up the camera and auto shut off. But all total was around 30 minutes, and you might could even take a couple minutes off that. There was a few times I got down to reposition cameras and stuff, but you know, got a little bit of the crop knocked down there, but not. This is kind of the end of the rows here where it wasn't really growing very well anyway. But anyway, hopefully that job is finished. So regardless of what grapple you may have or may be thinking about getting, in my eyes, any grapple is better than no grapple. But you guys that have got single cylinder grapples, or if you have a dual cylinder grapple, leave it in the comments as, you know, some things you've learned about it, do's and don'ts, and what you think maybe advantages over, you know, one over another. As I say, you know, definitely the part about, I don't know if you could tell that next to the last larger section where I had to cut it in half, it was very uneven. So one cylinder was closed way down and one was, you know, kind of up, clamping on it. But anyway, I hope this helps you out if you're thinking about getting one. It is definitely a valuable tool, but you know, you got to have that third function. If you don't have that on your tractor, you will definitely want to install the third function kit, so it makes it super easy to control, you know, the opening and closing of the jaws. But anyway, thank you so much for joining. Hit the subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.